Prosecutors call her a flight risk. Her attorneys say she's a dedicated soccer mom. And this morning, she's expected to appear before a federal judge. What we know about Diana Fajardo as she faces charges tied to an illegal gambling operation in Wilder.
In Kimberly, teachers can now become authorized to carry concealed firearms to help defend against school shootings.
We don't really know what to expect when the temporary SNAP suspension begins.
From food bank leaders to families organizing help, I'm Greenlee Clark, learning how neighbors in Star and Emmett are offering support before SNAP benefits are put on pause.
Connecting neighborhoods across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, telling stories from within our communities. This is Good Morning Idaho.
Good morning, Idaho. Thanks for joining us this morning on a Thursday. I'm senior reporter Roland Barris. Great to have you along, everyone. This morning, you're going to see more news from your neighborhood from more reporters than anywhere else. Those stories are coming up in just a moment. But first, let's get the very latest on our weather this morning because I'm really valuing my hot cup of coffee, Sophia. It's pretty cold out this morning.
Yeah, it's hot cup of coffee weather, I guess you would say. Some people still have iced coffees, even when it's cold outside. I know Taryn, one of my friends, does that all the time. But either way, warm cup of coffee for the morning. 32, kicking it off the day at the Village at Meridian. Still a pretty nice, quiet start to the day. We haven't had too much active weather, so it's perfect for outdoor activities or maybe just to stroll around the Greenbelt. Even nice patio weather with the jacket. By the morning and by 8 a.m., we'll be sitting with those temperatures in the lower 30s, so just above freezing, and you'll feel that way if you forget the jacket. But by lunchtime, we warm slightly to those mid 40s. I would still keep it with you throughout the day. It's going to be a lot similar to yesterday with the mid 50s throughout the afternoon, but still pretty nice with the sunshine out. I'll be showing you the Halloween forecast and what's in store for the weekend coming up.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Sophia. And we turn to the news now. And our top story, recent court documents are highlighting new details in a federal investigation of alleged illegal gambling at a Wilder racetrack last week. Prosecutors say the business took in at least $2,000 on any given day. Court records also show part of the operation led by these two men used wire communications between Idaho, Oregon, and Utah to transmit bets on horse races at the arena. If the suspects are convicted, the government plans to seize more than $40,000 in cash and the track itself. We're also learning more about the fifth suspect charged in the case, Diana Fajardo. In court documents, her attorney calls her a dedicated soccer mom who's not a flight risk. But prosecutors also say she ignored officers' commands, flipped them off, and locked herself in a porta potty before 3 officers pulled her out during the raid. 2 of those were hurt during the scuffle, according to the documents. Fajardo is expected in court later this morning following an investigation from parole officers. Today's hearing coming just off the heels of her initial court appearance last night. Senior reporter Don Nelson was there.
I'm senior reporter John Nelson outside the federal courthouse building in Boise. The last of 5 defendants charged in connection with the Wilder horse racing raid appeared in federal court on Wednesday. And like all 4 on Tuesday, Diana Fajardo pleaded not guilty to conducting an illegal gambling business. Fajardo is an alleged citizen of Mexico, but has lived here in the U.S. for 24 years. Her children are U.S. citizens. It was a much longer court appearance than Tuesday. The prosecution requested a detention hearing because they feel she is a serious risk of flight for a number of reasons. The judge made her decision. Fajardo will have what's known as a delayed release for 1 day to give probation officers time to look at her son's home in Nyssa, Oregon, where she would reside. Reporting from outside the federal courthouse building in Boise, Idaho, I'm senior reporter Don Nelson, Idaho News 6.
Idaho News 6 was there when the federal raid played out just over a week ago. You can see all our team coverage and exclusive interviews on the 2C Neighborhood News YouTube page and on idahonews6.com.
Every second counts when it comes to responding to an active shooter in a school, and now one Magic Valley school district is arming its teachers. I'm your neighborhood reporter Lorian Nettleton in Kimberly to learn about the process where school district staff can become authorized to carry concealed firearms.
The rationale behind this is this is just the last-ditch effort.
The policy was approved last year, but details are now finalized, allowing teachers and staff in Kimberly schools to conceal carry firearms as a protective measure against potential active shooters.
Unfortunately, and this is what I always say, we have enough data from school shootings that we can start making data-driven decisions.
Kimberly Superintendent Luke Schroeder told me the data shows once a shooter enters a building, someone gets shot every 4.7 seconds.
If we could delay that shooter by 5 seconds, we possibly just avoided someone getting shot. 15 seconds is 3 people.
The addition of armed teachers and staff is on top of a host of other preventative measures in place, including secure single entries, cameras, hard to shatter glass, even mental health support, counseling, and staff training. And not just anyone can show up with a gun. There's an extensive process in place for staff to become authorized, including physical training, weapons proficiency, and use of deadly force training before they can seek approval from the school board.
And if the board makes the decisions from there, they have an additional 40 hours of training before they're allowed to carry. Once they're allowed to carry, then it is qualification twice a year with their firearm, and then a minimum of 16 hours of ongoing training.
The district credits a policy adopted in 2018 by Xavier Charter School in Twin Falls, the first school in the Magic Valley to have such a policy, where Gary Moon says they're getting positive parent feedback.
We have families coming to look at our school as possible location for their students, and they see the signage we have on the front of the building, and I'd say we only get positive comments about that. But we felt like we did all our homework and came up with a good policy, and it is gratifying to see other schools doing the same thing.
Their identities are confidential, but Superintendent Schroeder confirmed there are a number of armed staff now in Kimberly schools. I'm your neighborhood reporter, Lorian Nettleton, Idaho News 6.
Today, the Treasure Valley DUI Task Force will start their Halloween DUI operation. The task force is made up of several agencies, including Boise Police, Ada County Sheriff's Office, ISP, and more. Idaho State Police say in the 1 year the task force has been operating, law enforcement has made 325 DUI arrests across 3 operations. They urge you to call 911 if you suspect an impaired driver.
Overnight, President Trump meeting with China's president to finalize a trade deal between the two countries. I'm Nicole D'Antonio in Washington with the details on the high-stakes meeting.
Flooding is cutting off access to Shoshone Falls.
We're not totally sure where that water is coming from.
I'm your neighborhood reporter, Joey Martin, talking with Twin Falls Parks and Rec about the issue and how it's impacting access to the popular park.
Welcome back to Good Morning Idaho. It's 9 minutes past the hour. Let's take a look at your national headlines this morning. The U.S. State Department deploying dozens of disaster relief workers as the death toll across the Caribbean from Hurricane Melissa rises. At least 30 are confirmed dead. The Category 5 storm tied records for Atlantic hurricanes with winds of 185 miles an hour sustained when it slammed into Jamaica. In Haiti, the storm killed at least 25 people, including 10 children in one town alone. Cuba evacuated 735,000 people and reported no deaths. The storm is now headed towards Bermuda as a Category 2. 5 new suspects have been arrested in connection to a robbery at the Louvre Museum in France. 2 suspects had previously been arrested in connection with the brazen theft. On Wednesday, French prosecutors say those 2 suspects admitted their involvement. The crown jewels, by the way, have not yet been found. And President Trump threatening to start testing nuclear weapons as soon as today. In a social media post, he said he's instructed the Defense Department to start testing nuclear weapons on an equal basis with other countries. What that means exactly is unclear. The U.S. has not detonated a nuclear weapon since 1992. Russia did it in 90, and China tested one in 96. The most recent nuclear explosion was by North Korea in 2017. China and Russia and the U.S. routinely, though, test systems and devices that are capable of carrying nuclear warheads. This morning, President Trump is traveling back to Washington after his high-stakes meeting with the Chinese president. Trump now hoping to finalize a trade deal between the two countries and avoid a costly trade war. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with the latest.
This morning, President Trump headed back to Washington after meeting with China's President Xi Jinping for their first face-to-face meeting since 2019.
We have a deal. Now, every year we'll renegotiate the deal, but I think the deal will go on for a long time, long beyond the year. We'll negotiate at the end of the year, but all of the rare earth has been settled. And that's for the world.
The president announcing the effective rate of tariffs on China has been lowered by 10%, from 57% down to now 47%. On the table, everything from tariffs to fentanyl to ending the Chinese boycott of American soybeans that has pushed some American farmers towards bankruptcy. It would also loosen restrictions on China's sale of rare earth minerals critical for making smartphones and cars. Before the meeting, President Xi talking about their ongoing relationship.
Mr. President, I'm ready to continue working with you to build a solid foundation for China-U.S. relations and create a sound atmosphere for the development of both countries.
The president had also hoped to meet with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un on this trip, but he did not publicly acknowledge Trump's invitation to meet. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Okay, neighborhood of the day is downtown Boise. Nice, cool weather continues on with mid-50s this afternoon. We'll be talking about the Halloween forecast and what's in store for the weekend coming up.
Love Your Neighborhood, brought to you by ICCU.
This week's Love Your Neighborhood, we're at one of Nampa's favorite bakeries, and you may have already seen them on social media. We're at La Esperanza's Bakery here in Nampa. Take a look.
So here are, I would say the most traditional pan is going to be the conchas. And these are our seasonal little mini pumpkins. So we'll have those for the rest of the month. My parents opened a small little bakery about 19 years ago in Caldwell. It was just a bakery and tamales. And we currently expanded about 2.5 years ago to a Mexican market. So now we offer food, we offer a restaurant, we offer meats, groceries, and of course our breads. They're gonna show us how they do a Day of the Dead bread.
This week we've been doing a lot of our Day of the Bread fun. This is the week where we want to honor the dead, where we want to still remember those for people who are past and aren't with us anymore. And a lot of people use that bread to place in the ofrenda as kind of an offering. So yeah, it's just a great way of remembering great memories with people who aren't with us. Are you guys hungry? Do you guys want a tamal?
The holidays, tamales are insane.
So these are the ones that we serve every day. So I have a jalapeno with cheese tamal. And I also have a puerco, so pork with red salsa. Food is all about, sharing time with your loved ones, be with people and eat. That's the way I like to think about it. We're in the business of creating memories because people get to come out here, grab their bread, take home for their events. So I just want people to be happy. That's all I really want.
Are you guys bringing it back home for your family?
For us.
Oh, good for y'all.
We made such an amazing community in Caldwell that I was scared that, we're not going to be able to have the same connections with the same customers. But most of them still come see us, and now we get more people that come from Boise that's a little bit closer to them. So it's been great.
And that's a wrap on this week's Love Your Neighborhood. We're here in Nampa, Esperanza's Bakery, where you can come and try out their tamales and then also a lot of their baked goods that they have for the upcoming holidays. Sophia Cruz, Idaho News 6.
Sophia Cruz with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
We have some of those back in the control room.
Yes.
Bring them out later on.
Thankfully, Lindsay, the photographer who shoots all of those Love Your Neighborhoods, thought about saving it for the morning crew, because if we would have left them here yesterday afternoon, they would have all been gone. So.
Thanks, Linz.
Yeah, thank you, Linz. Thanks for thinking about us. And as you start to get ready with us this morning, perfect, really hot coffee weather. Maybe go get a pastry to start your day. It's pretty chilly out there. So again, just grab the jacket. I'm giving you a look as to what you can see from Bogus Basin, but what I want you to notice is there's that snowpack hanging on. Pretty soon they'll start making snow, and it'll be cold enough to where the snow sticks and stays, and we'll be all heading to the mountain pretty soon. Right now though, pretty chilly start. So you've got 30s waking up into the lower Treasure Valley, 31 over in Boise as you start to head over to our mountains, 19 in Stanley, 28 to start the day in McCall. By this afternoon, no changes here. It's pretty seasonable still, with mid-50s expected along your valley floors. If you're in our mountains, lower 50s. So overall, just carry the light jacket with you today, and as you get ready for your Halloween or even your cape, whatever you want to do for your Halloween, just make sure you've got something to help keep you warm. By 7 o'clock, you've got lower 50s into the later evening, mid 40s. We'll slowly see some clouds increasing, but it's going to be a really good Halloween for us here. I remember last year we were looking at a little bit of rain moving through. This weekend, no rain in sight. Just a pretty nice, mild weekend ahead. One of really the best days of the weekend is going to be Saturday. We will look at a warming trend and temperatures getting to those mid-60s Saturday, and that is above normal for us as we head into November. But even next week, the 60s continue to stick around. So let's take a look at the overall picture of what's happening out there. We'll continue to see those clouds increasing overnight Friday from that northwesterly flow, but behind that ridge is going to build in. So that's what's going to bring up those temperatures and in turn bring us back towards those mid-60s as we head into our Saturday. By the time we head through the end of the weekend, we do look at this weak front move through. It brings showers between Washington and Oregon. For us, just more increasing clouds into your Sunday afternoon, but no rain in sight. And it's going to be a pretty mild weather week for us, even as we kick off the new one. If we do see some rain or snow chances, that's going to be for next Thursday. So as we make our first work week into November. Either way, one thing you will notice about November is that's going to kick off warmer than normal. So this goes all the way from November 5th through the 9th. And our temperature outlook is really just telling us that it is going to be pretty warm in comparison to what we normally see to start November, which is about 57 to 58. So our temperature trend has us peaking Saturday mid-60s, but the 60s continue even into next week. So prepare for some warmer weather as we start to move into November, but that doesn't stop the snowpack either way. As we take a look and flash forward towards November 12th, still about some good snow coming in. Now, not what we would experience during winter. However, for November, still looking pretty good. Okay, through the weekend, you've got those lower 60s into Sunday. Through next week, mid-60s continue Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then we start to cool down by Thursday.
A proposal to expand Middleton's footprint into farmland is put on a pause. I'm your Canyon County neighborhood reporter Victoria Rodriguez at the Canyon County Administration Building, where commissioners decided to table the topic to take up at a future meeting. Canyon County commissioners say they're not ready to make a final decision, wanting a clearer map showing the city's proposed boundaries, existing service areas, and how Middleton plans to handle future growth of up to 54,000 EDUs, or equivalent dwelling units, which represent homes or businesses connected to city services. Middleton's planning and zoning official, Roberta Stewart, also had the opportunity to clarify any points that may have been misinterpreted from the last hearing. This comes after a packed house at the previous hearing, where more than 50 neighbors weighed in, most against the idea, leaving the final decision up to the board. They'll revisit the proposal on November 17th at the Canyon County Administration Building. Reporting in Caldwell, I'm your Canyon County neighborhood reporter, Victoria Rodriguez for Idaho News 6.
In Twin Falls, what you need to know about the closure impacting access to Shoshone Falls.
Idaho News 6 Allergy Report is brought to you by Boise Valley Asthma and Allergy Clinic.
Allergy report still looks pretty smooth, with sage now being in that moderate category, but ketopod in the low. Not too many updates on this end, but we'll keep you up to date as we head through our allergy season together.
Only months after opening, the new road down to Shoshone Falls is closed after some unexpected flooding. I'm your Twin Falls neighborhood reporter, Joey Martin, and this waterfall behind me is usually just above a trickle this time of year, but as we enter the month of November, it's gushing.
It has done this on occasion, but it's temporary and it's never been this volume.
Twin Falls Parks and Recreation Director Wendy Davis says the water in Durkee's Lake has risen more than 10 inches in the last few weeks, at a time of the year when water levels should be at their lowest. Instead, the abnormally high water is creating a major problem along the new Shoshone Falls Road as it looks for a place to go.
So the culvert that's going under the road right now is not adequate for this level of flow, but this is an unprecedented amount of water. At a groundwater level that we're not totally sure where that water is coming from.
Davis says during the planning process of the new road, this wasn't even considered a possibility, leaving the Parks Department wondering what's going on. As they continue to investigate the source, they closed the road to avoid any significant damage.
We've created a temporary, for lack of a better word, ditch to channel the water as best we can across the road and dump it into the pond below. But right now, I don't have a way to get them safely across this problem in a vehicle.
The Parks Department says they do not have a timeline for when the park will reopen. Once the water has dropped, they can assess the damage and make repairs. Reporting from Shoshone Falls, I'm your neighborhood reporter Joey Martin, Idaho News 6.
Too bad it's causing so many problems because it sure is pretty. Thanks for joining us this morning on Good Morning Idaho. We have much more in store in our last half hour. Here's what's still to come from your neighborhood reporters.
In Star and Emmett, how neighbors are helping neighbors keep pantries stocked as SNAP benefits pause for the month of November.
In Meridian, I have the details on the major development coming to this land near Pine and Locust Grove.
In Boise, why Lime scooters and bikes have a new speed limit.
Now we'll look outside from the Treasure Valley Chevy Dealers Tower Cam.
Connecting neighborhoods across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, telling stories from within our communities. This is Good Morning Idaho.
Good morning, Idaho. Welcome back to our last half hour, everyone. I'm senior reporter Roland Barris on this Thursday morning. Idaho News 6 is bringing you more news from more neighborhoods. We have the largest team of reporters in the valley working to tell the stories that impact you. We're going to hear from them coming up in just a moment, but let's start things off with a definite chill in the air. Sophia Cruz has the latest on what we can expect today. Big jacket this morning.
Yeah, big jacket. It is a cold start to our morning. A lot of our temperatures in our neighborhoods are just at or below freezing. So for the kiddos heading into the bus stop today, it's going to be a wonderful day at school, but don't forget the jacket. You've got 34 as you're walking into the bus stop. Going to be nice and clear. And then this afternoon, as you start to get ready to head home, maybe you want to play outside after school, going to be the perfect weather for any outdoor activities, honestly. Mid-50s as we head into this afternoon. So pretty similar to yesterday, Roland, but we haven't seen too much change this weekend. We are looking at a warming trend, though, as we approach Halloween. So I have all those details on your Halloween forecast ahead.
Great looking forecast. Thanks, Sophia. Appreciate it. Well, after 4 weeks of a government shutdown, federal funding for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program is set to stop. Nearly 42 million Americans rely on SNAP to put food on the table. Star neighborhood reporter Greenlee Clark meets with neighbors trying to help neighbors in a story new this morning.
Families across Idaho are preparing for a temporary suspension of SNAP benefits for the month of November. And Treasure Valley neighbors are stepping up to make sure no one goes hungry. I'm your neighborhood reporter, Greenlee Clark, talking with a food bank leader in Star and an Emmett mom turning concern into action.
I just really hope that we can change some people's days or weeks and make it so that they don't have to worry about having food on the table.
Ashlyn Baird, an Emmett mom of two, felt she had to do something when she learned SNAP benefits would temporarily stop November 1st. Nationwide, about 12% of people get SNAP assistance. In Idaho, it's closer to 6 or 7%, one of the lowest rates in the country. The most recent USDA report ranks Idaho 47th nationally. This means stricter rules and rural distance barriers make it more difficult for families to enroll. In Star, Capital Projects Director Michael Keys says the Star Food Bank is waiting to see how the suspension will play out.
We don't really know what to expect when the temporary SNAP suspension begins, and so we're trying to remain flexible and be ready for anything that happens.
The Star Food Bank serves Star, Eagle, Middleton, and Emmett, but will have to stick to that area during the suspension, referring others elsewhere. The organization is working out of just 800 square feet, making it difficult to take physical donations.
Because they take up a lot of space and we're really constrained. So if people really want to help during this temporary crisis, our request is they bring cash or checks made out to the Star Food Bank.
Meanwhile, in Emmett, Ashlyn's simple online offer to help a few families grew quickly.
It's been really amazing, and we've had 9 requests so far in the last 24 hours, and all 9 are being filled today or the next couple days.
So many people wanted to get involved that she created a dedicated Facebook group called the Emmett Pantry Project.
Every time you get on social media, there's a lot of hate and division, and I just wanted to do something to bring the community together and just improve someone's life.
The Star Food Bank is still working on expanding to serve more people, and you can find more information on the Emmett Pantry Project in this story at idahonews6.com.
I'm your Star and Emmett neighborhood reporter, Greenlee Clark, for Idaho News 6.
And in downtown Boise, the Boise Farmers Market is looking to fill the SNAP gap this Saturday. SNAP recipients will be provided with $40 to spend on local healthy food options. All you have to do is show your SNAP card. Recipients can also use any remaining funds on that card. Donations in support of the program can be made online through the Treasure Valley Food Coalition. Now, main sticking point in the government shutdown right now is health care, and premiums will rise for those who rely on the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. Premiums are expected to rise by 26% on average next year, according to the Kaiser Family Foundation. But the actual amount that people pay next year could be much, much higher, as enhanced premium tax credits that lowered costs are set to expire at the end of this year. Democrats are demanding an extension, but Republicans say they won't negotiate until the government is reopened. In a Senate Finance meeting last night, Idaho Senator Mike Crapo saying it will make the issue worse.
We will not agree to their demand that in healthcare policy, we agree to their $1 trillion-plus spending package that will simply throw more money at the issue rather than actually negotiating over real solutions that are needed to fix the coming crisis that we see.
As we've reported, costs in Idaho are expected to go up only 10% on average. The Idaho Department of Insurance tells us that's partly caused by more competition, with several new insurance carriers joining the state exchange in recent years. Even still, dozens of healthcare workers and patients staged a die-in demonstration outside of the Idaho State Capitol, protesting a federal tax bill they say will strip health coverage from tens of thousands of Idahoans. Downtown neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker explains.
About 70 people laid still, representing Idahoans they say could die each year without access to health care. Protesters argue 67,000 people may lose coverage because of cuts to Medicaid and ACA tax credits.
This is truly such an important issue, and most of my patients are on Medicaid or rely on the ACA subsidies to get their health insurance. And I see every day the effects of having health insurance.
Family medicine physician Angela Bang says without coverage, life-saving care could be out of reach for too many.
These are families who will have to choose between stable housing, food, basic necessities, and their life-saving medications. Ultimately will lead to worse patient outcomes, and people will die as a result of this.
Organizer Alice Nelson says the impact hits hard in her own household.
I get health insurance through the Affordable Care Act, and without the tax credits, we can't afford to get insurance. As a matter of fact, the JEC has predicted that 68,000 Idahoans will be without health insurance, which will result in 80 unnecessary deaths per year.
She says the demonstration is meant to deliver the message directly to elected officials.
We'll hopefully get the attention of our representatives in D.C. and that maybe they could come to some sort of agreement that they would at least extend the tax breaks for a year or so and not gut Medicaid. That's also something that's going to affect a lot of Idahoans here.
Organizers say they plan to hold more events and are urging anyone affected by the cuts to call their members of Congress. I'm downtown Boise neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker, Idaho News 6.
The Idaho Anne Frank Human Rights Memorial in Boise now has enhanced security and accessibility features. City leaders dedicated the enhanced space yesterday. The $3 million improvement project includes wider pathways, new security cameras, and lighting. Visitors can also expect a new kiosk and a map with interpretive features. The memorial opened in 2002 and is recognized as an international site of conscience.
Not so fast. If you like riding Lime scooters and bikes in Boise, get ready for a slower ride in some places. I'm your neighborhood reporter Brady Caskey, and after multiple injuries and over 50 concerned phone calls, the city asked Lime to slow these rentable rides down. So let's take one for a spin. So right now we're cruising on the green belt and my max speed is capped at 12 miles per hour. There's even a little turtle icon that pops up on the Lime bike that shows me that I'm in a slow zone. But as we just cross the threshold and make our way into downtown and out of that green belt slow zone, the bike speeds back up to 15 miles per hour. Those speeds will be even lower after 6 p.m., capped at 10 miles per hour, and around Main Street bars on weekends, 8 miles per hour. hour. The city tells me Lime saw about 150,000 rides in September alone. Since May, they've also received over 50 phone calls from neighbors voicing their concerns, prompting these changes.
I think what we really need from people is partnership to join us in making our path safe for everyone. We have this partnership with Lime that allows us to do that quickly and get their support on that, but we need residents and e-bike owners to do the same.
The city tells me they're increasing police presence on the Greenbelt to help educate folks with their own private e-bikes and scooters too. Reporting in Boise, I'm Brady Caskey for Idaho News 6.
6:38, let's take a look at what's happening in your neighborhood today. On the Boise bench, the city is breaking ground on the new Whitney Pool. When completed, the new facility will feature a lap pool, a kiddie pool area, complete with indoor restrooms and locker rooms. The ceremony starts at 11 a.m. at Whitney Elementary School. Get spooky in Nampa. The Nampa Nightmares walking tour will take you to some of the most infamous, eerie locations around town. Tickets are $20. The tours start at 7 and 9. Costumes are encouraged. And in Garden City, it is the 74th annual Ski Swap. The seasonal sale offers new and used skis, snowboards, clothing, and much more. Sales support mountain sports programs across the Treasure Valley. It kicks off at 5 o'clock tonight. And check back in with us tomorrow morning because I'll be there live at 5 and 6 a.m. to show you all the greatest gear.
A massive new development in Meridian is officially moving forward.
In the heart of the valley, and it's such a large urban project.
I'm Meridian neighborhood reporter Ali Tripke detailing the mixed-use development that's on its way to this growing part of Meridian. A major development in Meridian now has the green light from City Council to move forward. I'm Meridian neighborhood reporter Ali Tripke speaking with the developers who will bring a hotel, residential units, retail spaces, and more to 33 acres near Locust Grove and Pine Ave.
In the heart of the valley, and it's such a large urban project.
It's been years in the making, and now plans are underway to expand Pine 43. Local developers, DRB, have owned this land around Pine and Locust Grove for decades. And now new plans will add more than 900 homes, including townhouses and luxury apartments, along with 229,000 square feet of Class A office space, a hotel with event spaces, restaurants, and shops.
Our project with Pine 43 is an infill. We believe it links the village through our property to downtown Meridian.
Meridian City Council member John Overton represents the area where Pine 43 will rise. He voted to approve the project, calling it an ideal fit for this part of the city, close to I-84, schools and major employers.
If they only have to drive a mile between where they're going to school and where they live, or where they work and where they live, then we're keeping them from having to drive all the way across the city.
Developers say the project includes more parking than required, much of it underground.
It just allowed them to put in some amenities that in a lot of other areas of the city would be occupied by asphalt parking lots.
Agencies, including ACHD and the West Ada School District, confirmed they'll be able to handle the added traffic and population growth. The residential buildings will be some of the tallest in the city, prompting some concern from Meridian Fire Department. Overton says they have the inch and ladder resources to respond in an emergency, and plans for interagency support are already in place. Construction will happen in phases over the next decade. Developers tell me they'll most likely start with the residential townhomes. Developers say they don't expect to break ground until 2027. In Meridian, I'm neighborhood reporter Ali Tripke for Idaho News 6.
Okay, neighborhood of the day is downtown Boise, where it's a nice, cool day this afternoon, mid-50s. Enjoy the weather and make sure you sit on the patio or go for a walk around the Greenbelt. We'll be talking about your Halloween forecast and the rest of the weekend ahead.
In Boise, ITD and ISP partnering together to help you tackle Idaho's winter roads. You may have noticed it's starting to get a little chilly here in Idaho. Frost on your windshield already, and soon these roads behind me here could see some snow. So how do you handle it? I'm Isaiah Sharp at the Idaho Transportation Department as they partner with state troopers to help Idahoans stay safe this winter. Fall is in full swing. Idaho is already seeing snow in higher elevations and temperatures soon dipping below freezing, which means on Idaho roads,
people can expect to drive in winter and slick conditions at one point or another.
And how you handle winter driving is important. That's why the Idaho Transportation Department and Idaho State Patrol are teaming up to host classes to help Idahoans tackle tougher driving conditions.
Really, we reinforce good driving behaviors because they're always important, but in the wintertime, they're really amplified, and you really have to have good driving behaviors.
There are 2 more classes coming up next month, November 12th and 26th, but ITD does tell me they are filling up fast, so make sure to sign up as soon as possible. In Boise, I'm Isaiah Sharp for Idaho News 6.
If you're a fan of winter, it's time to vote. The Ada County Highway District is asking you to weigh in on their snowplow naming contest. There's dozens of names to choose from, like David Snowy, Scooby-Doo, and Life of a Snow Girl, among several others. You can vote on ACHD's website until midnight tonight.
Sophia Cruz with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
Well, you're not going to have any problem driving in the snow this year. You got the big 4-wheel drive this year.
I do. I upgraded. So if you see me on the roads, watch out. I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, do watch out because
just go slow.
Yeah, go slow, drive safely, especially as things start to turn a little bit more wintry out there. Right now, we don't really have to worry about that. But what you do have to worry about is the cold morning. So make sure you grab the jacket and don't forget it. You've got 32 to start your day over at the Village at Meridian. Overall, it's been a pretty mild weather week here. We haven't really seen too much activity nor very much change on top of that, but right now it's just a cold start to our morning. 29 in Baker City, 28 waking up in Ontario, 30 over in Boise, 17 in Stanley. That's the coldest spot on our map this morning, so that's a big jacket and some layers as you wake up there. By this afternoon, though, lower 50s in our mountains and mid 50s continuing to follow in those valley floors. By tomorrow evening, if you maybe set out for trick-or-treating around 7 o'clock, you will just want your cape or your light jacket or something just to keep you warm. You've got lower 50s by 7 p.m. depending how late you decide to go through it, mid 40s into 9 o'clock, and then overnight we'll start to see more clouds increasing. Now the weekend is still a nice, comfortable weekend here, but we do kick it off a little bit warmer. So that new month, November 1st, right around the corner on Saturday, we'll be starting November with the mid 60s, which is warmer than normal. So we average about 57 to 58 as we transition into November, and this is way warmer than that. As we continue even into next week, that warm trend continues on. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the bigger picture of what's happening out here. You've got this northwesterly flow helping increase those clouds as we move into those overnight hours Friday, but behind that, this ridge starts to come into play. We'll notice that temperatures do warm into our Saturday because of this, but right behind that, here's that front moving through. It brings showers from Seattle down all the way to Newport. For us, just going to increase those clouds and bring on some, well, not even cooling. It just keeps us from warming up, really. And as you take a look at the next week, there's not very much change out there. Maybe a few clouds increasing to our Monday, but overall, the bigger picture of what we'll be looking at is just a warm start to November. So here's our temperature outlook. This goes from November 5th through the 9th, warmer than normal, especially as you start to head down towards our southern areas and down into Utah, it looks like, and even in Colorado, warming up a bit. Here's our high temperature trend, just to give you a good idea of where we're sitting into next week. We've got mid 50s through Friday, but you notice that there's not even any 50s in sight. We get pretty close even to that 70 mark as we head into next Wednesday. So pretty warm as we wrap up in October and start to transition into November. Good news is that there is still some snow that our models are picking up. It just comes for the second week of November as we head into Wednesday, November 12th. We're seeing some minor accumulations here, just between 3 inches, and it looks like even at higher elevations, maybe a little bit closer to that foot or about 8 inches minimum. Either way, this is some good signs because I am ready to transition into winter. I don't know about you guys, but it is something I'm looking forward to. Now, through our weekend here, you will notice Friday, mid 50s. Saturday, we fall back 1 hour, and the next week the warming trend continues on, and we don't really cool back down to the 50s until Thursday. If you want to read more about this forecast, you can head on over to idahonews6.com. Otherwise, really good day for some outdoor activities and even a good weekend for it. Okay, it is 6:51. We are going to head on over to your roads.
Now the Idaho News 6 traffic report.
All right, 6:51 is your time again, just in case you're just tuning in with us. Good morning to you. Also, if you are just turning on your TV, right now we're giving you a look at Middleton, Star, and Eagle, where it's a nice, smooth commute to kick off your morning. Haven't really seen too much change, but here's a look at I-84 Garrity. Lots of slowdown as you start to head into that eastbound lane. Westbound lane, can't really tell too much of a difference there, but I-84 Broadway Avenue, eastbound, still looking pretty sleepy, so if you're heading in that direction, should run into no troubles, honestly. Drive times right now, still in the green, so again, I-84 eastbound looks like a nice, quiet start to the morning.
In this morning's GMA First Look, food banks across the country working overtime. As the federal shutdown stretches to a full month and the discontinuation of the nation's largest food assistance program looms.
I'm at $2.45 right now.
Food bank workers expect food insecurity to skyrocket.
It's been days that I haven't go to sleep because I'm thinking, what's going to happen to all of us?
SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, serves nearly 42 million people every month. But if the shutdown continues, SNAP funding will stop on November 1st.
It's hard to say we need help, especially as mamas. You know, we're supposed to take care of our babies, and when we can't, we need help.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we're live from one of our nation's food banks, how they can help you through this difficult time and how you can give back. With your GMA First Look, I'm Will Reeve, ABC News, New Orleans.
Welcome back, everyone. It's 5 minutes before the hour, and we are just starting to wrap things up here on a Thursday morning. In case you missed it, here are the top stories we're following from our neighborhood reporters.
In Kimberly, teachers can now become authorized to carry concealed firearms to help defend against school shootings.
If we could delay that shooter by 5 seconds, we possibly just avoided someone getting shot. 15 seconds is 3 people.
There's an extensive process in place for staff to become authorized, including physical training, weapons proficiency, and use of deadly force training before they can seek approval from the school board.
In Star and Emmett, how neighbors are helping neighbors keep pantries stocked.
Star Food Bank serves Star, Eagle, Middleton, and Emmett, but will have to stick to that area during the temporary suspension of SNAP benefits. Neighbors all over the Treasure Valley have learned of this temporary pause and are working together to make sure no one goes hungry.
Not so fast. If you like riding Lime scooters and bikes in Boise, get ready for a slower ride in some places. New speed limits have been implemented on the Boise Greenbelt at 12 miles per hour. And in downtown, speeds will be capped at 10 miles per hour from 6 p.m. to 3 a.m.
Slow down, Brady. And of course, you can learn more about all these stories on our website. Just head to idahonews6.com.
Now, the Out the Door forecast, brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors.
Okay, as you get ready to start your morning, make sure you grab the jacket. Temperatures hovering just above freezing through 9 a.m. Nice and cool throughout our afternoon, similar to yesterday, mid-50s. So keep the jacket with you through the day ahead. Okay, let's get you ready now to head on to your morning commute.
Now, the Idaho News 6 traffic report.
Okay, everybody, it is 6:57 and happy Friday, Junior, to you. We are giving you a live look of downtown, where it's actually pretty quiet downtown. Normally you see a few cars out there. Right now, oh, there's one. It's overall pretty quiet start to our morning. I-84 eastbound already seeing some slow up as you head out for your morning commute. We haven't noticed too much change, but here's another look at I-84 Garrity, where that eastbound lane is starting to get a little bit packed out there. So just a heads up to our Caldwell commuters again. That's where you're going to want to really make sure you give yourself some extra time this morning. And you're already munching on the food.
You know, KFC has the finger licking good, concept. This is right up there with it. This is amazing. Anything that's got cream in it.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
And we got these from La Esperanza Bakery yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Lindsay had the great idea to save them for this morning so that way we can enjoy them. I'm going to try this one.
Try that.
This caramel?
Oh, man. Caramel.
You're munching
and they're just
on it.
Absolutely. These are works of art. I'll tell you what, I mean, take a look at that for the holidays, for Halloween. What a neat thing. And they make them so quickly, too.
Mm-hmm.
They're so fast at it.
And they wake up at 4 a.m. to make these.
Got to make the donuts, right?
Yeah.
These aren't exactly donuts. They're kind of like a donut in some respects, but man.
It's a sweet bread.
Sweet bread.
Yeah.
Absolutely fabulous. Thanks for bringing those in. Thanks, Lindsay, for bringing it in. Hey, everybody. Have a great Thursday.